Welcome back to the captivating realm of exploring selfishness. In today's discourse, we delve into a pertinent query: what unfolds when the ego relinquishes its grip? What catalysts precipitate its unraveling? Life often leads us through moments of mental anguish, known colloquially as an emotional implosion. Before delving into this inquiry, a preamble is warranted. Contemplate the profound ache of faltering in endeavors dear to us, notwithstanding earnest efforts. Consider how sorrow fractures our emotional fortitude, leaving us beleaguered and bereft. Yet, let us draw a distinction between ordinary mental tumult, intrinsic to the human condition, and a narcissistic collapse. It resembles a cerebral tempest, inexorable and tumultuous. Some transitions endure fleetingly, while others linger persistently. To grasp the intricate nature of a narcissistic breakdown, one must comprehend the fragility of a narcissist's self-perception. They incessantly crave adulation, attention, and validation, insatiable in their pursuit. Their entitlement knows no bounds, indifferent to the welfare of others. Narcissism manifests diversely. The grandiose narcissist exudes an air of superiority, vanity, and an aversion to constructive critique. Conversely, the fragile narcissist epitomizes despondency, perceiving themselves perennially as victims ensnared in a labyrinth of culpability and hypersensitivity to censure. Regardless of demeanor, their arsenal of defenses shields their frail self-conception. People often avoid taking responsibility and duty because of this trait, which makes them blame others for their actions, attitudes, and motives. However, these shields always fall apart when they aren't working, especially when dealing with certain types of interpersonal situations. Different people react differently to these kinds of collapses, but narcissists usually feel a flood of strong emotions, from furious anger and frustration to crippling sadness and even a sense of hopelessness. What happens when these barriers stop working as they should? What causes a psychopath to fall apart? Mostly, it might be because they are embarrassed, especially if the situation is seen by many people. For example, this could mean failing, having others point out your mistakes, being made fun of, or feeling stressed and unsure of what to do next. No amount of intelligence, acting wise, or acting moral will get egotistical people the praise they want. Narcissists can't be humble, especially when other people are better or more knowledgeable than them. Their weak sense of self-worth depends on approval from others, so they are always looking for it to feel important. When they don't see themselves as perfect or faultless, they feel weak, which is a feeling they find hard to handle. Being reminded of their flaws is a harsh warning that breaks through their facade and makes their inner turmoil worse. A narcissist can also fall apart when their public image or social standing starts to decline. After being caught lying, using Machiavellian schemes, and acting in a bad way, they can't fix their bad image, no matter how hard they try to shift blame, make themselves seem more important, or tell the victim's story. In these situations, they might feel hopeless and ashamed, which can make them feel even worse. In addition, the thought of losing their reputation, social standing, or privacy makes them feel even worse. They start to understand that what they do or say has effects, which makes them nervous. These people come up with a lot of excuses and distractions to keep people from noticing how bad their situation is, but none of them work. They can't do anything because they are paralyzed by the fear of losing their rank. The thought of a future without praise or jealousy makes them so anxious that it makes it hard for them to function in the present. In fact, the very thought of giving up their false sense of being special and entitled makes them fall apart quickly. They have to face the sobering truth that they are not as special or privileged as they think they are, and that they will not get special treatment just for following the rules. When they are treated equally, their hopes of always being admired or getting special treatment fall apart, which they mistake for unfair oppression. During these hard times, their already weak confidence and low self-esteem get even worse. Spreading rumors, acting like they are being treated unfairly, having tantrums, or stonewalling are all things they do to take control of what they think is happening to them. There are no limits to how hard they will work to regain some control over their lives. However, their attempts to get their own way again fail because their big plans fall apart or stop working. No matter how special or powerful they think they are, their claims are ignored, and people don't care about how smart, attractive, or good they think they are. The fact that they don't have any enablers, sycophants, or allies makes their situation worse, leaving them lost in a sea of loneliness. As more and more people stop believing their lies, they may be pushed to the background and forgotten. They are desperate because they don't feel appreciated or scared, and they can't find the approval they are always looking for. Their bad reputation precedes them, and their pointless efforts to hide only make things worse for them. Eventually, the anger and worry that have been building up turn into unbearable pain. Many truly narcissistic people don't care about how other people feel, either because they choose not to or because they can't. This inability may make the people they talk to feel ashamed and open to being hurt. Although they say they are in a lot of pain, the fact that they can't explain where or what is hurting them shows that they aren't very self-aware. They don't understand or care about other people's points of view because they don't have empathy. This makes them unable to understand why their wants aren't being met or why some people do better without them. At best, they put the blame for their pain on other people, which keeps them in a circle of delusion and loneliness. Certainly, people who are deeply affected by narcissism often try to avoid taking blame or say they were treated unfairly because they can't face the fact that they played a part in making things happen. When they try to deal with the stress of collapse, they may do things that are desperate, illogical, or thrown together quickly in order to avoid the pain and shame instead of dealing with the real problem. On occasion, they might say sorry, but it would be more out of regret for what happened than a real desire to change. Some people may see that they need to change and ask for help during the chaos of collapse, but how committed they are to self-improvement depends on how strong their ego is. The main problem is that they keep using protective strategies to keep the blame off of themselves, which stops them from really thinking about themselves and growing. A circle of stagnation is created when people keep doing the same things over and over again without learning from their mistakes. People with covert narcissism may use their fall from grace or the sadness that comes with it to get attention or pity. They may even use social media to get approval. These few sentences give a good summary of what is called narcissistic collapse. I really value your ideas, and I'd love to hear any other ones you have in the space below. These kinds of talks often lead to ones that make people think. If you like this conversation, you might want to subscribe to my channel to see more thought-provoking videos. Because you watched, thank you, and until next time.